how come the public didn't like gravitate towards that story of like the guy that doesn't fit in beating all the Titans?
Iron covers might be a bridge too far for people.
Happy PGA Championship week, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. We have the whole crew here. It's got Trent, myself, Kevin Kisner, Riggs Barstool. But first, we got to give a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Chevrolet. We love Chevy. We are always on the road with Chevy. We're going on the road this week to Ireland. We're going across the pond to Ireland. Can't wait to get there with the fellas. But first, like I said, shout out to Chevy. The Chevy Equinox is your do-it-all SUV. From your daily drives, weekend trips, and last-minute tee times, there's plenty of room for golf bags and gear with the Equinox cargo space, plus hidden storage underneath the floor. The bold, athletic, and confident style of the Equinox looks just as good at the course as it does off the map. With active trim, Equinox is home on dirt and gravel, polished for the course, prepared for the gateway. The Chevy Equinox is your do-it-all, go-anywhere SUV. Trent Ryan, let's get into this show. It's PGA Championship recap. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's a big show. There's only, 4 weeks in a year where we're recapping a major championship, and this is one of them. RAI with a huge win. We go over some of the top players in the world, sort of talking about course setup, what they liked, what they didn't like. We cover everything PGA Championship in this show. We got you covered. It's a big one, and it's all thanks to Chevrolet.
Chevy Equinox is your do-it-all, go-anywhere SUV. Let's get right into it.
Foreplay, my Barstool Sports. It is the 2026 PGA Championship, the 108th PGA Championship recap, knee-jerk reaction show. We got RAI with his 2 gloves and his iron head covers, which both of those actually have a very endearing backstory. But of all the things, I think we had 30 people within 5 shots of the lead going into the final round, which was really 30 people within like 3 shots of lead because Smalley had a 2-shot lead over second place. One of the weirder major championships. I guess if I had to really categorize the entire thing, sometimes you call it electric, dramatic, emotional. This one was weird, and we're going to get into all of it. There were players complaining about the course setup. This is really, look, over the last 3 years of major championships, we've gotten a lot of Rory winning and Scotty Scheffler winning, Xander Schauffele winning, Bryson DeChambeau winning. Occasionally you get fucking RAI. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, as they say sometimes. And everybody, you're all inclined to, and we're going to say the things that everybody means and feels, which is that, boy, is it awesome seeing someone achieve something that you kind of can tell they never were quite sure they're going to achieve. RAI played, I believe, the last 10 holes today at 6 under par. I think he shot 31 on the back 9. We were waiting all week long for somebody to go low. Nobody would do it. Just nobody would do it. Nobody would really go low. And of all people, it was RAI emerged from the pack. The shots that he hit down the stretch were fucking insane. He's hitting the middle of the green on the par 5 16th. He's making a 68-footer on the 17th. He stripes one down the middle on one of the hardest holes on the course, the 18th, and then hits it right over the flagstick. Meanwhile, I'm watching Rory's missing every fairway, left, right. He's hitting it. He's getting stuck. I'm watching Scotty Scheffler can't make a putt from 2 feet, and RAI is just rock solid the entire time. So we're going to get into all of it. We've got everybody. We've got Kiz. We've got Frankie. We've got Trent. We've got Ryan Richson on the producing of the show, which we always very much appreciate. And the last thing I'm going to say in my beginning rant before I send it out is just a huge thank you to Philly showing up in the merchandise game. It was insane walking around that place all week long, how much love we get from Philly. I know we got into the Philly fans got into it with Rory a little bit, which we'll talk about as well. But in terms of Barstool Sports and the representation and the support that we get in Philly, it's fucking amazing. It's amazing, and it showed up in the numbers. So a huge thanks to everybody who bought merchandise and said hello throughout the entire week at Aronimink, gentlemen.
Kevin Kisner, immediate reaction to the PGA Championship.
I thought RAI was a serious stud coming down the stretch. I like the way he carried himself, his charisma, the way that he prepared for every shot. Looks like he's the moment was never too big for him, which you do see in certain situations, especially with someone that hasn't ever won a major championship. I thought the golf course was pretty cool. I know the players were all complaining because you couldn't really get at the golf course and go at a bunch of pins, especially when it got windy. But I like seeing the ball bounce, man. The ball's bouncing down the fairways. The ball's bouncing around the greens. Guys driving in the rough were struggling to get it up to where they wanted to. And overall, I thought it showcased itself pretty well. I was a lot higher score than I thought it would have been. I thought it got, we shot 20 under there. We didn't. Keegan shot 20 under in 2018, and to see it go, just 8 years later, only 9 under, winning in a major championship setup is, I think, all based on the firmness and where they put the hole locations. Based when it got that firm, you just couldn't get at the flags. A lot of people didn't think that putting was going to be a big key, but it sure looked like the guy putting the best was going to win. So might have missed out on that one. Nobody was talking about putting. So, yeah, I think it's cool. Aaron Rye's a hell of a player. I think he's going to win a lot coming up in his career, and he's just rock solid.
Kiz, that's always a focal point from you that I think I've heard you a handful of times on the show really harp on the fact that putting statistics are always key. When you see people that are winning these tournaments week in and week out, they're in the top 10 or so in putting statistics. So much hype has been made in the last 3, 5, 7 years of golf around driving the golf ball and distance and analytics and decade golf and changing it. Do you think putting is still overlooked?
Yeah, I would just think, we don't talk about the guy that's putting the best as often as we should. Obviously, the distance thing is taking precedent or ahead of everything right now, because that's all people want to talk about. It's all over the TV screen. As soon as the guy hits it, it's his ball speed. If he, even if he hits it in the rough, everybody wants to talk about how far they hit it. But at the end of the day, you watch guys like Rory and Scotty not making jack shit all weekend, and they're not winning the golf tournament. And the guy that's making a 68-footer across the 17th green looked like he went over 3 elephants' backs and went in. That's the guy that's putting his name on the Wanamaker Trophy right now. So, I just think it's the one club you touch every time, every hole, and it's very important if that's the case.
Yeah, from Justin Ray, Scotty Scheffler finished with 125 putts this week. That's 2 shy of his most ever in a major championship. That is quite literally the difference between him winning and not winning. If that putter was hot and he was making putts, the way he was striking the ball, he was still in the mix. A couple back going into Sunday, you thought this was going to be a Scotty Sunday type of deal where he'd come roaring up the leaderboard. Just couldn't make anything. And then you have a guy like Justin Thomas. I think he had 27 putts today, shot 65, and found himself with a share of the lead. He had to come back to the clubhouse afterwards. He had left, and there's videos of him walking through the parking lot, and he was going to go get ready in case there was a playoff. I had people tweeting at me 3 hours prior to the finish being like, this guy thinks Justin Thomas is going to be even on the mind of the leaders coming into the back 9. 3 hours later, I'm tweeting back at them being like, this guy's in the lead. I mean, Justin Thomas was still in the lead of the tournament, basically. He was one back of Aaron Rye for like an hour and a half. So, yeah, putting obviously a huge focal point this week. I thought the course was awesome. I think there's a lot of risk reward holes for sure. There was drivable holes. There was holes that were 299 yards, and there guys were making double bogey all over the place. So I thought it was fun. Obviously, it's not what we expected. Going into today, I think we all had the expectation that it was going to be an all-time major. Just the names, the potential, the firepower, and for Aaron Rye to kind of just steal that thunder and just never look back. God, I want to make fun of him so bad, and I think I have, right, with the two gloves and the castle tees, the white belt. And I saw a lot of people saying today, like, this guy's a 20 handicap. Like he basically walks around like a guy that just learned how to play the game. And I don't know why we don't think that's cool that guy's winning majors. You know what I mean? Like, for some reason, I think I do know, because golf is all about as much money as you can spend, the best equipment, the most elite clubs. Like, it's turning into a minimalistic sport with like minimalistic logoing, not as much, on the hats or what. Like, everyone wants like the smallest, and they want the cleanest, and they want the most modern and all that stuff, right? And then you got Aaron Rye walking around, who's just like playing the same game he did when he was 4 years old. And it turns a lot of people off when you see it. It's jarring because it's so out of left field. to see that in a professional setting, but like there's something, damn it, I'll say cute about it. You know what I mean? It's like adorable, and it's lovable, and it's human, and it's like it makes you think about yourself. It's like a lesson. He's a walking lesson. He humanizes the game. He humanizes professional athletes. And yeah, I mean, he's not going to be on Wheaties boxes doing what he's doing, right? Like he's not going to become some global super athlete that's going to grab the hearts of America. But to have an Aaron Rai on have a platform the way he's going to now, and to be in the limelight, he really has a pretty good place in this game to give that storyline and to give those lessons out. I mean, I didn't think I'd have that takeaway. I thought I'd come on the show and be like, this guy's brutal to watch. He's out there just like wearing white belts, and he's a sandbagging rat according to Yip Strickler wearing a white belt. But like, I kind of loved the way he played today. I became like an Aaron Rai fan today, as like dirty as that feels. You know what I mean? It's like a weird thing to say. But like I like loved Aaron Rai today.
He's certainly a talking point. I mean, I watched golf today with people who don't always watch golf, and every time Aaron Rai was on the screen, it was, who's this guy? He's wearing 2 gloves. Everybody else that appears on the screen is wearing 1 glove, and they're out there, and you hear about the iron covers. And I know there's a heartwarming story behind both those things for Aaron Rai, but hey, I mean, if you get the people talking, you're at least doing something. And if you're winning the PGA Championship while doing the things that people are talking about, you're doing something right. So I'm with you. I mean, we've heard about Aaron Rai forever, and I feel like the first time he popped up on people's radars was when he made a 1 at 17 on at Sawgrass. They're like, wow, this guy's got 2 gloves, and what's he doing out there? But watching him today, he's very methodical. He doesn't lose his cool. He made that 68 footer on 17, and it was barely a fist pump, and he was ready to win the PGA Championship. And I'm with you. If it's not going to be all this firepower at the top of the leaderboard with Rahm and Scotty and Rory, and I mean, I know those guys were in the mix a little bit, but if it's not going to be that, why not Aaron Rai is kind of my main takeaway from the PGA Championship.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not sitting here anti Aaron Rai. I'm with you. I think the story is incredible. You get tears in your eye reading the fact that he rocks iron covers because he says we come from a working class background. My dad was able to get me a set of clubs when I was 8 years old that were so precious to me that I put iron covers on them. My dad himself would clean the grooves, I think, with like a pen and baby oil. And then, of course, he would cover those irons with covers because he wanted to protect the hell out of them. He said he grew up playing in shit weather in England when he was really, really young, and it would be either raining or really cold. So he would wear 2 gloves, and he got so comfortable with 2 gloves that he still wears 2 gloves to this day. All those things are incredibly endearing. I'm not anti-Aaron Rai. I'm saying there's nobody on planet fucking Earth that woke up and was like, you know what the best outcome is today? There's an hour and a half left to golf, and Aaron Rai's up by 3 strokes on the rest of the fucking field. And Trent, you're over there like, well, if we're not going to have firepower and this and that, it's like, we could have had firepower. John Rahm was right there. Rory McIlroy was right there. Scotty Scheffler was right there. And we got Aaron Rai basically pulling out of the parking lot while John Rahm's on like the 16th hole. So my thinking is not, it comes off anti-Aaron Rai, but every group text I'm on an hour ago was like, well, this fucking sucks. I was ready for a hell of an afternoon here. I was ready for someone chipping in on 17 and John Rahm, representing all of live golf and coming after the PGA Tour and telling everybody to shut the fuck up. And instead we get Aaron Rai with a 3-shot lead coming up the 18th hole. And so that's kind of where I'm coming at it from. It's like, you don't want to come off like you don't like underdog stories, because you do. And once you get into it, I'm excited to watch all the interviews. I always am. And seeing his wife out there and hearing all the endearing part about the background is fucking great. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to people and be like, I woke up and was like, let me look at this leaderboard right here. If Aaron Rai is coming up the 18th hole with a 3-shot lead, that's going to get my fucking juices flowing on Sunday afternoon. It's just not the greatest outcome that I could have had. And that's why I kind of said at the beginning, like, it's fine. You're going to get Rory quite a bit. You're going to get him crying on the 18th green as you see the whole weight of the planet and the universe come off his shoulders. Sometimes you're going to get Scotty Scheffler spiking his hat and his son Bennett last year at the PGA. You're going to get insane shit. And then sometimes you just don't quite get something that looked like it was going to materialize into an insane shootout, maybe a 5-way playoff with 3 or 4 of the biggest names in the game. And that's just not what we got. It doesn't mean it wasn't a great tournament. It doesn't take anything away from Aaron Rai. In fact, he made the other guys look childish coming down the stretch. Like the way that he played the 15th hole was like the longest par 4 out there. They were chirping him on the coverage for laying up basically off the tee, not hitting driver. He hit like 3-wood down the middle, striped one right at the flag, easy fucking par. Then he steps up to 16. I watched Rory hit it in the rough right. He could barely advance it up near the green. He's getting into it with fans because he had to hit some flop shot out of the rough again. Aaron Rai, right down the middle, hits an iron right in the middle of the green, 2 putts. So he fucking dominated. He made these guys look like children. It's just, that's just not the most incredible, unfolding of events that we could have gotten today is all I'm saying.
That's for sure. Certainly didn't wake up saying I want Aaron Rai to win today. I didn't even think about him. I mean, he was like plus 2,900 at one point on the Barstool Sportsbook. So, I mean, like no one was thinking about Aaron Rai. So, but my thing is like, how come the public didn't like gravitate towards that story of like the guy that doesn't fit in, like beating all the Titans? You know what I mean? Like sometimes that does play, and sometimes that becomes this outrageous story where they're running on the fairways behind him. I'm thinking of like a Francis Ouimet story, right? I watched the greatest game ever played all the time. He grew up across the street from the country club, and like everyone was rooting for him to beat the pros. Like no one had done it before. Like there's like something about the guy with the 2 gloves, and he's hitting castle tees. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was the thing I was thinking of coming down the 9th hole. Like, why isn't this grasping, and why aren't people going nuts for every shot he's hitting? Like it easily could have been that. You know what I mean? Like if public perception just switched just slightly, if the crowd there like started to pick up on the story. So that was interesting to me today because it's like, it's this guy that like looks outrageous. That's like winning the PGA Championship. He's beating Rahm and Scotty and Rory and like just all these names, Ludwig, like shot for shot. Like sometimes that's like the story. And this one was like, fuck, I can't believe it's happening. Maybe it's because he doesn't show enough energy. Like if he was the one gravitating everyone, being like, can you fucking believe I'm doing this? You know, like, are you not entertained? It's just, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I almost felt bad, like watching him walk up these holes and like no one was really going nuts. Like, this is a great story. This is a great story, So it was interesting.
It's a fantastic story. It was also, it almost felt like when he putted out on the 72nd hole, it like felt sad around the green. I was like 100%. Watching it. I was like, it felt like a bunch of the people there were like, all right, yeah, that was pretty cool. I guess we're out of here now. We're gonna, it was just like and it's it's hard to explain what transcends people and what doesn't. I just watched the documentary on Jamie Vardy and Leicester City and winning the Premier League in 2016 or 2017, whatever year that was, when they were like 5,000 to 1 to win it. And they talk about how that year there wasn't a person in all of England or the UK, unless you were a fan of whatever the team was that finished second, like Liverpool or Tottenham or something like that, unless you were from that town, every other person in England was rooting with their whole heart and soul for Leicester City to win for all the reasons that you're saying right now, where everybody was like, holy shit, this crew of like misfits from their coach all the way down to their last player who was 5,000 to 1 the year before. They should have gotten relegated from the league, which was their first year in the league in forever or maybe all time. I'm not sure, but they like should have gotten relegated. They had an incredible last 10 games or something to not get relegated from the league. Then they fire their coach at the beginning of the next season. Everybody's laughing at them. They're going to get relegated. They're 5,000 to 1 to win. And they won the fucking league. And everybody's like going nuts. And they're like, people were in the streets parading. Everybody was rooting for Leicester except the people that were from the town of the only other team that could have won. And so I don't know what the answer is and why sometimes people galvanize behind the underdog or the lesser known story. And sometimes they don't. In this game, we just tend to gravitate towards stars, man. It's like, I don't know why people want Rory McIlroy, who's a billionaire, who's already got 6 majors, who's got the perfect life in the world, to like beat Aaron Rai, who doesn't have all of that. I don't know why that answer is, but it does seem to,
But there's a huge difference between Rai and Smalley and all these other guys. Like he had a storyline, dude.
Iron covers might be a bridge too far for people. We might have just gotten to the bottom of it.
That's fun. Once you put those iron covers on, you just lose all of humanity, bud. I don't know. I think everyone was just sitting around like you guys thinking, at any moment these guys aren't going to be around any longer, and Rory or Rahm or Schauffele or one of these guys is going to take over. And it just never happened. So he never got the people behind him because not sure they were all 100% believing in him. And then suddenly, like Rick said, you get to 15, 16. It's like, holy cow, this dude's going to win the PGA Championship. And now it's too late to get a big group of people behind you. And he's so robotic. Like that fist pump on 6-17 when he made that putt. I mean, it took him like 12 seconds after the ball went in to fist pump. He looked at his caddy and then one small fist pump. I was like, dude, this guy is totally locked in.
In other circumstances, if the world was behind Aaron Rai and he did that, and the place was going up, and you show that documentary of him doing it, and he's standing there at 17, he just processes what he just did and does this. Like, that's an iconic celebration. But instead, we're like, oh, it's so boring. You know what I mean? It's just so funny. If you look at it through a certain lens, most boring PGA champion ever. But if things just fell just a little bit different for Aaron Rai in terms of public perception, Wheaties box. It's just, gosh. And that's a great point, kids. The fact that he was leading and we as the public and the viewer were like rooting for more drama is what caused you to kind of like ignore what he was doing for a lot of the day and look at every name beneath him and say like, all right, what's that guy got in the next 3 holes? And can he make up 2 shots? And then as that kept going on and on and on, each guy kind of fell off and you're like, oh, now we're stuck with Aaron Rai. That's where that storyline kind of builds. But had Aaron Rai made his way up the ranks and makes a putt on 18 and ties Rory McIlroy, sure, it's a whole different story. So yeah, it's a great point. It's the way that he won that kind of like subdued, probably our perception of it.
You had Smalley kind of fall off from the get-go, which people probably thought that was going to happen. So then everyone just has their warm and fuzzies waiting on the next superstar that's on that leaderboard to take the tournament by the reins, and nothing. It just never happened all day. I don't know if that was golf course or what, but none of the superstars rose to the occasion, which they normally do.
Yeah, for sure. And, and you could even tell like with the coverage, it was like they sort of, after he made the putt on 17 and then he hit the fairway on 18, CBS cut to him walking up the fairway, and they then were kind of getting the story really out there, right? They're like hammering the story because they hadn't, to your point, they hadn't really had a chance to do it. Credit to them. There's so much golf to show. They're showing a ton of golf and cutting back and forth. There's so many people within a couple shots of lead that it is sort of rapid fire. Your brain sort of like, feels like it's on a bunch of Adderall as you're watching it, because it's like this person, they're going to birdie this hole. You start to learn. And then it was like, wait a second, that's the guy that's going to win. And then it's like over. He had like finished already. And so it was hard to kind of, I guess, get people rallying behind him until it was too late or it was over. But crazy round from him, crazy impressive. He was 1 over through 8. He eagles 9, pars 10, which was one of the hardest holes. Birdies 11, birdies 13, birdies 16, birdies 17. No bogeys coming in over the last 10 holes. It was just an insane performance. And kids, to go to your points, I was kind of looking on strokes gained putting for the week. Number 1 in strokes gained putting for the week was Schmid. 2nd, Schauffele. 3rd, Smalley. 4th, JT. 5th, actually Michael Block, who was cut. 6th, Aaron Rai. Like, these are the people that were all in the mix to win the entire golf tournament.
Yeah, I'm telling you, every Saturday when I get in the booth and my stat guy hands me the stats for the top 15, every one of them's in the top 20 in putting. They may not be in driving distance or they may not be in greens and regulation, but they are in putting every week. And I don't know if we don't talk about it enough or if people aren't putting enough emphasis on it, but I read something where Aaron Rai was 141st in putting on tour this year going into this week, and then just putted his ass off to win the PGA Championship. And you got to take your hat off to him. Like that back 9 on Sunday at a major championship on a golf course where single digits is winning. He makes, what'd you say, 4 birdies on the back, no bogeys. Like that's why you're holding the Wanamaker, buddy.
He's also the first PGA champion. This is a shout out to Elias Sports Bureau, who absolutely peppers us with emails during the PGA Championship. Randy Robles. I mean, There's an option to respond, unsubscribe, and I had unsubscribe all caps written out with an exclamation point. And I said, you know what? Let me just hear what Randy has to say for the rest of the weekend. So I didn't do it. He gave me some great stuff today. Elias Sports Bureau. Aaron RAI is the first PGA champion to ever shoot a lower score in all 4 consecutive rounds. So he shot 70, a 69, a 67, and a 65. This has only happened 7 times in major championship history, where the guy, you would think that winners always just progressively get better as the week goes on, but you know, historically they've always had another round in there that like lit them on fire, and then maybe they held on Sunday. Yeah, I just thought that was super interesting. And then I also saw another one just now that came through, that he's the first player representing England to win the PGA Championship since 1919.
Wow.
Yeah. So could be a big star, you know? England's going to be behind him. The glove market's booming today.
Glove market, yeah. Everyone that is playing in the Monday 18 hole hit and giggle tomorrow for their company is going to have 2 gloves on.
Yeah. My right hand gloves as a lefty. I'm done.
Yeah.
The Spit and Chicklets crew has created a spirit inspired by our very own Ryan Whitney. It's his favorite drink, the award-winning New Amsterdam vodka mixed with fresh pink lemonade. Pinkies up, fellas. We're talking about Pink Whitney. That's the result of all of that I said is an exceptionally smooth, great tasting vodka with notes of candied lemon. We absolutely love Pink Whitney out there. It's the birdie juice. It's the whole deal. You make a birdie, you rip a Pink Whitney. Fingers up, like the pinkies up is what we're calling that. Trent, we love Pink Whitney out on the golf course.
Yeah, we love it. And you know who else loves it is the people who play in the Barstool Classic. This thing gets people going. They got a great build out. Whenever they hit the Pink Whitney hole, they have a great time. You see them a little bit after, and they're literally buzzing from being on the Pink Whitney hole. So, yeah, it's great to have out there on the golf course. You get the little shooters. If you're playing well, you take it. If you're not playing so well, you take it. It's just a delicious, delicious thing to have out there on the golf course.
Pink Whitney is the #1 flavored vodka in the United States. That is an unbelievable fact, and it is a true fact. So go get a bottle of Pink Whitney. Pinkies up. Pinkies up is the rallying cry, baby. Pinkies up. It means it's time for some Pink Whitney shots. Golf season is in full swing, and DraftKings Sportsbook has a new customer offer. When the leaderboard tightens and the pressure hits, the best golfers in the world show you exactly what they're made of. Champions separate from the field hole by hole, and DraftKings keeps the action going with a new customer offer from Thursday's opening round all the way to Sunday's final holes. Bet player props live as the action unfolds from the first tee box to the 18th green. Every birdie, every bogey, every clutch putt when it matters most. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. We are loving the new same game parlay feature in the game of golf on DraftKings Sportsbook. We all used it this weekend, pairing winners with top 10s or pairing matchup winners with top 25s and make the cuts. You can get a lot more creative now with the same game parlay, where in past you could not. It was pretty much you had to just pick winners, outright winners, or you had to just parlay what was ever in one specific category. Now you can kind of mix it up from all different types of bets in the game of golf.
Yeah, I mean, I had Cam Young to win this week. That obviously didn't work out, but then as the leaderboard started to shape up, I sprinkled a little here, I sprinkled a little there. I'll tell you what, I didn't have Aaron RAI winning. Anybody out there who bet on Aaron RAI, they got to be some of the happiest people in the world, but you're always going to find something on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Go on there. NBA is going on, MLB is going on, NHL playoffs are going on. You're always going to find something, and it just feels good to be a little bit more invested. Use the DraftKings Sportsbook.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FORE so you're ready for the moment. That's code FORE, F-O-R-E. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
I want to get into a couple other big storylines from the week. Was the golf course, Aronimink, Donald Ross, the greens. I know, Kiz, you mentioned earlier that you didn't think it was going to be this high of scoring, meaning not as low, not as good, not as under par as people were thinking. Credit to me, I was more on the wrong side of the what will the winning score be than anybody's ever been in history. I put a nice healthy wager on it being under 267.5, and it wasn't lower than 4 under the entire week until like an hour ago, basically. It felt like so that was pretty sweet to be on that one. But a lot of comments, especially from the top players in the world, about the setup. A ton of comments about the setup. Rory sounded off on it. Scotty Scheffler sounded off on it. Shane Lowry sounded off on it. I want to play a couple of these. We can start, Ryan Richard, with Rory McIlroy, I think. Rory was kind of the first, I think, it feels like, to really kind of go off on the setup. And a lot of people were kind of looking at this thing on Friday with the jumbled up leaderboard and nobody going as low as they thought. And this was sort of Rory's talk and explanation of it.
I think a bunched leaderboard like this, I think it's a sign of not a great setup. I think when it's as bunched as it is, because it hasn't really enabled anyone to separate themselves. It's like, it's easy to make a ton of pars, hard to make birdies, and not that it's hard to make bogeys, but it feels like bogey's the worst score you're going to shoot on any one hole. There's not a lot of hazards. There's not, I think the setup is fine. Like the golf course is good. The pins were tough and the wind was what it was as well. But I just think, I've always felt like really good setups that it starts to spread the field a bit, and not great setups sort of bring everyone together. And I feel like that's what's happened the last 2 days.
Kiz, I'm curious, as one of the top players in the world for a while, way closer than we ever will be. What are your thoughts on that?
I just think what he's talking about is the pins, when it got that firm and the greens were that firm and then the wind blew, where they put the hole locations, you just couldn't be aggressive to them because you couldn't get it close. So everybody's putting from 30 feet. And that just makes everybody just two-putt a lot for pars. And then, like you said, there's no out of bounds and there's no hazards. So guys are not hitting all the foul balls. You're just getting around the green, and you're either getting up and down for par, or you're making bogey. And the par fives were not, the only 2 par fives, 9 and 16. And everybody was tearing those up, but the rest of them felt like it was just a bunch of pars, like he said.
I think he was getting painted as like bitching because he wasn't winning.
Right.
And I always I try to defend, especially Rory, a good amount on this stuff because people are like, what a whiny bitch, Rory. Those are all what the comments are underneath. And there's probably an element of that to some of it. But I always like to remind people that, like, Rory didn't grab a microphone and be like, I got something to say about this fucking setup here. He's asked about it, right? He's like, credit to him. He does media afterwards. Last year, he didn't do a lot of it in his weird little run he had after he won the Masters. He's doing the media after everyone. He's one of a couple players that gets asked to do a press conference. He sits there and he gets asked questions and he weighs in on those things. Honestly, I also think at the same time, when I hear like Rory and Shane Lowry were going off on it, I'm reminded of the fact that like the PGA of America runs the PGA Championship. PGA of America is responsible for Team USA Ryder Cup. And it's not that long ago that Rory and the Shane Lowrys of the world were bitching about, the PGA of America not getting a hold on Bethpage and the fans. And so I always think there's a little bit of, they're always looking to take some digs, I think, at the PGA of America. Having said that, I'm glad, like, getting your explanation, Kids, is sort of where my less informed opinion had kind of landed on it, where I was thinking that, like, okay, if you put basically a pin on top of a volcano spot on a green that nobody can get it within the 10 feet area to make a birdie putt, then you can hit the ball in the rough, you can hit the ball in the fairway. It doesn't matter how good you are or not good you are. You're all going to then like chop the ball up most likely to that same 30 to 50 foot out range, like you said, and you're all going to two putt. And that happens 72 times, and everybody's pretty goddamn close at the end of the day. Is sort of like what I think they were trying to say. And I don't know that they're necessarily wrong, but I also don't know, I don't know that necessarily comes off to me as like it was a horrible setup, where it's just like it was windy. The course defends itself with the greens. And like, there's also some statistics to it of like, if Scotty, for example, had just like putted competently, I do think he would have separated himself and been, he would have been like 7 under going into today. He missed, what was it, like yesterday on Saturday? He missed like 5 putts inside of 6 feet or whatever the hell it was, 8 feet, 10 feet, something like that. And he wasn't making anything. So it's like, you could also just, you could just get a tournament where it's like, people just didn't run away because they didn't run away, and they couldn't go low, whatever it might be. So I guess I'm a little bit torn on it. I always hate when these types of narratives take over, because then it puts a bad memory in people's minds about like Aronimink, and I think Aronimink's fucking awesome. I think like the way Philly showed out, awesome. Donald Ross, phenomenal. And so I don't know. I guess I'm a little torn on it because I understand what they're saying, but I also don't like that it was framed as like a not great setup. The setup is just the setup, and at the end of the day, we were really close today to having one of the most iconic finishes of all time.
Yeah, and I don't think that he was making fun of the golf course. He was making more fun of the Garrick Higgo and the PGA of America and how they set the golf course up. I think everyone liked the golf course, but I was watching Max Homa on an interview saying, when they were playing on Tuesday, if you put a pin over there, nobody can make a birdie. And then he's like, every hole we said that, they put the pin there. So we just didn't make birdies all day. And that's why everyone is so bunched up. When you just have a bunch of guys, not even the guys playing the best are still playing away from hole locations, it just makes everybody putt from the same area on putts that are not easily holeable.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because like other tournaments have people bunched up at the top, but what Rory's saying is that's when you're quote unquote earning it by making birdies. Think of a place like the Masters, if guys are making birdies and eagles and they're bunched up coming down the stretch, like, yeah, they deserve to be there. But if you're just making pars, like it's basically widening the pool of people that can be in the mix, because you're taking away the guys that hit it the best in the world because they can't even attempt to go and hit those shots and make those birdies. I mean, yes, like I can see that, but also like Aaron Rai proved on the back nine that if you hit certain shots and make certain shots happen, you can make a bunch of birdies coming down the stretch and you can kind of pull away. So I think Rai definitely threw the PGA Championship a bone there by playing his balls off, shooting a 65, making a good score out there, playing pretty much perfect golf and proving that it can happen. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking in a general sense, I definitely see what he's saying. It was interesting to hear that side of it. I never really thought of course setup that way.
Me neither. And like and look, I guess the way that I take that then is like, okay, if there would have been 3 or 4 more pins on Thursday and Friday that were not on top of, impossible to get to plateaus or whatever they are, and they're more in like bowls and funnels, and you could have had these guys that get rewarded by hitting it down the fairway, being able to control their distance and their spin and wedges and get them in there close, then like you have some more separation from the relatively average people out there in this event and the elite players, or the people that were playing elite for the weekend. So, again, I'm not on the level, of these guys to fully understand that difference, but to hear him and Scotty and Shane Lowry and then Max Homa was saying it, I imagine there's quite a bit of legitimacy to what they're saying. And I always kind of feel bad for PGA of America. They're always getting, we did it last week. We're like, yeah, this is the 4th major. I think we're the beginning of the show. Somebody had it down as far as the 10th biggest tournament of the year.
I went top 10. I said top 15 confidently.
Yeah. So, and then the narrative on Thursday, Friday is like, it's a dog shit setup, and so I just kind of feel for the PGA of America quite a bit when these things, when these types of narratives happen, people are always looking for reasons to dig at them and take them down. When in reality, just being out there was awesome. It felt big. It felt, and the golf course and the property is big. It's iconic. It's historic. Anytime you get the Donald Ross name in there, one of the top architects of all time, especially historically, and then you get the leaderboard that we kind of did shape up to have, where it was like Rory was up there, Rahm was up there, Scotty was up there, Xander was up there, Ludwig was up there. You're like, okay, shit, this is iconic. So I guess part of me feels a little bit bad that at the end of the day, the story is not going to be, when we did the ranking of like the best Masters of all time, the ones that we chose as the best ones were like when Rory wins and when Tiger wins. And this is just not one of those stars winning. And so we had a lot of phenomenal finishes over the years of the PGA Championship coming down the wire. with star after star after star. We were close this time, and Aaron Rai just went out there and did the damn thing and got it done with insanely impressive shots, which, again, we're all tipping our cap to. Insanely deserving. This could catapult him into being a much bigger star out there, because if you could do that under that kind of pressure and that kind of golf course, you could probably do that anywhere. So it was awesome to see, but it was hard to ignore some of the storylines and some of the people bitching. It was also hard to ignore Garrick Higgo with one of the great stories to ever come out of a major championship, where he missed his tee time by a few seconds or so on Thursday. He got dinged a 2-stroke penalty, and then he gave one of the wildest, I think, press conferences, maybe the greatest press conference in the history of golf. We got to play this bad boy, Ryan Richardson. This was an all-timer right here.
I was there on time, but the rule is if you're 1 second late, you're late. So if you think about it, I was there on time, if you know what I mean. But
I don't quite no. What is it when you say that you were there on time but late?
Like I was there at 7:18, 30 seconds.
And
you know
7:18 was the tee time?
Yeah, or something like that, 7:19, whatever it was. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
He makes a good point, though. You know, like, I understand that they look based off of the actual like seconds on the time, but if that clock is saying 7:19 and he showed up at 7:19, 22 seconds, it's still technically 7:19.
I liked when he said, if I knew I was running late, I wouldn't have been late. And that, I felt like it was like Socrates or something. It took me a second to really absorb what he was trying to say. But I'm kind of with Frankie. I'm not fully on this guy's side, but there is a part of me where I'm like, was he late? I know he was, but like, I don't know. I'm very curious to know where Kiz falls on this one.
I still don't understand what the hell he's trying to say. Like, he's saying if his tee time was 7:18, he got there 7:18 and 20 seconds, and they gave him 2-shot penalty.
I think so.
Yeah, because when I listened to that live, I was like, I still don't know what this guy's trying to prove here. I mean, you're late, and then he says he's on time, but then he's late 1 second. I'm like, well, if you're 1 second late, you're late, right?
Dude,
so, I don't know.
He goes, I was late, but I was on time.
And
that's a winner, dude.
Well, he goes, you know what I mean? And the guy goes, well, no, I'll be honest, I don't know what you mean. And he sends the follow-up question. He also had said to Trent, you were just saying, it's like he goes, they're like, did you know you're late? He's like, no, if I knew I was going to be late, then obviously I would have been late. And then he followed up, and the guy goes, so you were very surprised when you got 2-stroke penalty. He goes, no, I wasn't really surprised at all. I kind of thought I was late.
Yeah, when he said that one, I was like, I am so confused now. I feel like I was talking to my 5-year-old right there, and he got
Luke
me.
Kwan should have taken a page out of this book with Dave, just like confuse the shit out of him, be like, I'm not late at all. You know, just keep saying I'm not late. And I think at some point, the rules official needs to be like, yeah, maybe you're not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else to say to this guy.
I don't understand how you can even risk it, right? Just get over there.
Well, he also had another quote saying his caddy was yelling at him, being like, we got to get to the first tee. And then I don't know what his response was to that, but he knew that he was up against it.
There was 2 players in my career that showed up like right on the tee time every time. Steve Stricker, I mean, he would still be hitting drivers with like 2 minutes to go on the range, and he would run from the range to the first tee. And then Xander Schauffele's the same way. His caddy Kais will just yell at Xander. He'll take the bag and all their stuff and just leave the range, and Xander will just stay there hitting balls. And then Xander runs to the tee last second, gets there every time.
I'm trying to think of the technical reasoning from the rule side. It's because like 7:18, the 18th minute has surpassed. We're on our way to the 19th minute. Like, that's why, no matter what it actually says on your clock, 18 and 30 seconds, like, your tee time has already started and you're not here.
Yeah. I don't think your tee time is a 60-second interval. I think your tee time is like a 1 second moment.
Because technically 1 second past 7:18 is on its way to 7:19. That 18th minute has already existed.
Like, you don't have a tee minute, you have a tee time. And your time is 7:18. And the second it hits 7:18, you are late if you're not there.
Right, because you have to have some sort of rule, or else then, like, if someone shows up at 7:18:59, then you're just beating 7:19.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then your tee time's a minute later than that. If you're trying to, You know what I mean? Like he doesn't grasp what he's saying. He's like, I was there at 7:18:30, which like, no, that would mean that you just beat the 7:19 one.
I think that's why he was like, I was late, but like I was on time. You know, like
I love it. I
got
thought it
the
was a
first
great
3
explanation.
numbers correct. I just didn't get the second part.
Right. If you have a 7:18 tee time, Kiz, is a ball getting struck at 7:18? Like, is that happening right away?
As soon as that minute hand goes to whatever the minute number is, they announce the first player every time.
Wow.
But on TV, like on Saturday and Sunday, when we are showing the leaders tee off, let's call it the players, our walking announcer taps the announcer on the first tee to go. So we'll count it down in my ear. My producer's counting down. All right, we got 24 seconds until we go back to the first tee to whoever's talking to carry it. It's usually Terry Gannon because he's doing the odds. And then they'll count it down, and then they'll go, Bones, hit him. And if you'll ever see in the corner, Bones will tap the guy on the arm, and he'll go, next on the tee.
Okay. I've always wondered how you guys nail that because, oh, man, that camera will just like that camera. A lot of times it's the camera that's like on the slider or what looks like a drone almost. That's like, and as soon as you cut to it, the guy's like, next on the tee, the 2:35 starting time. I'm like, wow, these guys are fucking good. What if they were early? What if they were early, you know?
At Augusta, their members do the announcing, and so TV doesn't have any control there, and he'll just go whenever. Because I was doing radio this year, and he was like, "Hey, this guy's been going like 30 seconds early all day, so just get ready. We don't know when he's going to go."
See, I like that. That I like a lot. That keeps you guys on your toes. You might have to kill it 30 seconds.
Yeah, never know what's going to happen, or you could just be like, holy cow, he's going. We got to get to the first tee. Rory McIlroy's about to tee off.
Has there ever been a situation where the first hole just took a really long time and the tee times got pushed back a minute or two?
Yeah, if you have like a ruling out there and you can't go, obviously. I don't recall one on a weekend, but they spread out the tee time so much more once we get to the weekend. And you're usually playing in 2 balls, which is harder to have a hold up. But yeah, you can be late on the first tee because of slow play or something happened in the first fairway or even the second fairway where it slows everybody down.
Happens at the Barstool Classic all the time, unfortunately. We do shotgun now, but especially during COVID, we were doing like tee times because we couldn't congregate as much. So if you had like the first hole, especially if the first hole was like a par 5, that was kind of reachable. That was an absolute disaster because people would hit it out there. They'd stand on the fairway forever. And then nobody would be able to go, and they'd be behind. You'd be like 30 minutes behind them at the end of the day. It sucked.
Knowing how stringent all of this is with the tee times, I'm both surprised and I suppose not surprised that we don't have more controversies like this, where, like Kiz is saying, where there's guys who will wait till the last possible second and sprint down to the tee. If it's really, if you're 7:18 and it's 7:18:01 and you're late, I'm a little surprised that it doesn't happen at least a little bit more frequently.
Well, most everybody gets there 3 to 5 minutes before their time because they got to get their scorecard. The caddy's got to get their bib. I get all my stuff situated on the first tee to go, like put my yardage book and pin sheet and scorecard in my yardage book, and then I get my tees and ball marker out on the first tee. So it takes 2 or 3 minutes to do all that, and so that's why I'm never late. But some guys risk it, man. Risk it right to the very end. Steve Stricker was amazing.
Now, do you know if there's a rule in place that if you go to the bathroom, you get like
you get time, but you got to go tell them you're going to the bathroom.
Okay.
You can't just be like, oh man, I had to go to the bathroom.
I'm just saying, what if the faucet's running? And, Taco Bell the night before, Trent and I, we've all had our situations out there. Like, what if you just can't make it to the tee? It's just a 2-stroke penalty.
No. They'll give you some clearance on that, but you got to get them involved in the situation. You got to bring the rules official and like, hey, man, I got some real issues, and you're gonna have to figure this out. I mean, I've called a rules official to carry me to a bathroom during the round.
What?
Yeah, like I had to go, and I was like, dude, you've got to come pick me up and take me in the cart to go.
I picture they threw you over. He threw you over his shoulder because you had bubble guts or something. You just couldn't take another step. Guy carried you over.
No, I wanted to go, and there's no bathrooms around the hole I'm on. I need somebody to take me to one.
How often have you had like a stomach issue out there? I mean, it's got to
Yeah,
be the
just-
worst feeling of all time.
Worst feeling of all time, especially if it's hot.
Oh.
And that business is getting taken care of in a porta potty.
No, man, I make them take me to some indoor plumbing.
Okay.
Not doing it in a hot porta potty.
And that brings the whole tournament to a screeching halt, right? Because like
Well,
no one's
you get a little more clearance and stuff on that if you're a fast player, right? They know that as soon as I get back, I'm going to catch up.
Right.
There's some leniency based on your history.
and guys aren't going past you. Like everyone behind you, everyone just stops and waits. I mean, we've all had bathroom anxiety about making groups wait. Imagine being there and you know you got to go and you're sitting on that thing and you're just like, nothing's going. We're going slow now. You know what I mean? You start getting the sweats. It's going slow. I got the whole tournament waiting for me now. You know, that's not good. That is not a good situation. Made with real iced tea and real vodka, or real lemonade and real vodka, we are talking about Sun Cruiser. We love Sun Cruiser. Cruising, just absolutely delicious on the golf course. Couldn't ask for a better partner in terms of drinkability and just like good vibes, great marketing, good logo, great gear. Sun Cruiser has it all, Trent. We are obsessed.
Oh, they're so good. And you know, ever since they came on board and we've been bringing them on trips, I watch Brendan Jones load so many Sun Cruisers into carts and wherever we're going, and we just go right through them. As the 18 holes go, so do the Sun Cruisers. We play the next day, there they go. And they're just, the drinkability is through the roof. They are delicious. Yeah, people love them. And anytime I recommend them to somebody, they get back to me within a couple of days being like, Sun Cruisers, man, these are the real deal. They're delicious.
And the reason is because they're perfect for the golf course. They've got they have no bubbles to fill you up or get you bloated, and just 1 gram of sugar and 100 calories. Plus, with the 4.5% ABVs, you can keep it flowing all day. Sun Cruiser is also the officially ready-to-drink canned cocktail of the U.S. Open and U.S. Women's Open. So, you know they know their way around a golf course because that's Shinnecock Hills, that's the U.S. Open. We were just there. Having Sun Cruisers, unbelievable time. The fact that they are there for the U.S. Open is incredible. So next time you're at your favorite course or bar, make sure you order a Sun Cruiser. Crack one open today, Sun Cruiser. This episode is brought to you by Kraken, the official crypto platform of Barstool Sports. Golf's all about consistency, same swing, same routine. Don't overthink it. Crypto is the same idea. You don't need time to get the perfect shot. You just got to show up and keep swinging. It's a great lesson for the game of golf. It's also a great lesson for diversifying and getting involved in crypto. It's not just crypto. Kraken has stocks and ETFs too, over 11,000 equities actually. So whether you're building a portfolio or you're just getting started, it's all in one place. And here's what's in the bag: 350 plus cryptos to trade, 11K equities, including stocks and ETFs, recurring buys so you can stack while you're out chasing birdies, get up to $200 when your buddies sign up through our referral link, which is going to be Barstool25. Terms and conditions apply. So I'm going to read you guys what you're going to be getting with this Barstool 25. You're going to build your stack like your handicap slowly and with fewer disasters. Kraken's going to give you $25 in Bitcoin. New users, all you have to do is go to kraken.com/Barstool and use the code Barstool25 when you sign up, deposit, and trade $100. Boom. That's $25 in Bitcoin done. Did you hear that correctly? That means you got to go to kraken.com/Barstool and you're going to use code Barstool25. And that's going to get you $100. That's going to get you $25 in Bitcoin when you deposit and trade $100. Kraken.
All right. Speaking of great press conference and answers, I got one more for you guys. You know, the man of the hour when it comes to the PGA Championships, Mr. Blocky. So Ryan Richardson, he had, speaking of bathrooms, you know, there's a couple good segues in here, but the latest from Blocky this year.
I showed 70 today? Yeah, it's kind of cool. I was in the bathroom on hole 12 or 13 today, and there was no mirror, so I wasn't looking at myself, but I said, "You got this." I go, "You're actually pretty good, buddy." And I just kept going.
Hell yeah. Yep. I love that. Just in the bathroom, like, you know what? I am good at this. A little self pep talk in the bathroom. That is actually an amazing segue that we just made. I had no idea that was going to happen. That Blocky said that about the bathroom, but the fact that happened, that just fired me up. And it's a lesson for everybody out there. Just if you're not playing that well, or if you are playing well in this case, go in the bathroom and just be like, you know what? I am good at this. And then get back out there and keep it moving. I like it.
Very inspirational, just very inspirational moment from Michael Block, just hyping himself up in the old bathroom. Wasn't a mirror for him to look into, but if there was, it's, just want you to have that kind of visual.
Yeah. He talks like a fortune cookie or something. He's just he's a bizarre dude.
He is a bizarre dude.
He really did set the scene. He's like, picture this. I'm in a mirrorless bathroom. And then you're like, okay, all right, where is this go? Yeah. All right. I'm there with you, man. I'm right there with you now.
He's a fantastic story. Don't get me wrong. Like the Michael Block, and we talked about this last show, but like the Michael Block, when he first came on the scene, was awesome. We all got behind it. I think he still thinks that he's living that movie life, which at this point he basically is. What is this? Is like 10th? Did I see he's like playing like 10 majors or something like that? It's ridiculous.
Playing a bunch of them.
He's playing fantastic golf. He's still living that, that PGA teaching pro type of lifestyle. He's not on the tour, but he keeps qualifying, and it's a great story. Don't get me wrong, but he still thinks the cameras are bright on him. You know what I mean? So he's given these like one-liner quotes, which they're hilarious when they don't hit as hard as they did in year one. They start to become a little bit more funny.
They're just not hitting, man.
They're not hitting.
It's hilarious.
Like we're missing cuts talking about mirrorless pump-up speeches. It's just brutal. Brutal.
You are pretty good at this thing. I'm going to try that this week.
Pretty good at this thing.
Pretty good at this thing, kids. You're 4 over through 12. Come on back.
He had one more. Michael Block had one more, and I think this is actually our last one. But he, he missed the cut. He did. I think he missed the cut by one, which is very sad. And I forgot to mention on the Garrick Higgo story with the 2-stroke penalty, he also missed the cut by one after all that, after his 2-stroke penalty, which is brutal. But Michael Block, after he did miss the cut, he was asked about, his future. And here we go.
If indeed this is your last PGA Championship, you turn 50 soon, if you can kind of reflect on the memories of all those years playing in this event and what it's meant to you.
So I have to be honest with you. There's no way in God's green earth this is my last one.
All right.
No chance. I will definitely qualify for one more, if not 5 more, to be honest. Even though I'm going to turn 50, I still get the opportunity because of the PGA America to go to the National Championship and qualify for the top 20 to come here. And I definitely have some more in me, for sure. And there's no doubt about that. So if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't.
So is there a limit to being... did the guy bring up 50 just because he says he's turning old? He's getting old, or is there like a limit?
So
okay,
yeah. I think it was an old man thing. I think it was just you're just old.
How confident he was?
Crazy how confident he is.
He went, but then kind of wavered at the end. Did you notice that? His tune changed to, well, maybe I do and maybe I don't. Well, I'm going to qualify for maybe 5 more of these and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
I think that was
he tried to
himself.
He tried to throw a bone to PGA of America too in the middle of that rant of like, hey, they let us play in this great championship. They got to cut those guys down to like 5, man.
I'm gonna win the Inter Invitational this year. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
That's right.
I know for damn sure. God's green earth.
All right. Next up on the major championship front with a lot of eyeballs, is the United States Open Championship at Shinnecock. That's going to be put on and broadcasted by our great friend Kevin Kisner and NBC out at Shinnecock. Speaking of Shinnecock, we got the video coming out this week. We hyped it up a couple weeks ago. We talked about it, so we don't need to hype the whole thing up, but that's coming out this week. All 4 of us played our own ball tips. It was like 50 degrees, blowing 30 or 40 at Shinnecock, one of the hardest courses out there. But yeah, kids, a lot of eyeballs are going to be on the old NBC broadcast going into major championship
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. We got to have a seamless operation up there, so I don't have anybody talking trash about me or what we did wrong. No, it's going to be great. The golf course was fun to play with you guys. What an iconic place to be able to go call a major championship at Shinnecock. It's going to be really fun. Team will be ready to roll, and hopefully we can get to everyone live.
Mm-hmm. I will say, speaking of an iconic place, having a few libations, as Tiger Woods would say, in that little bar area afterwards with the fellas was one of the all-time golf memories I think that I'll ever have. That was just delightful sitting in there at Shinnecock in the clubhouse, one of the coolest clubhouses in the world.
Yeah, what a spot to let us hang out, and I didn't know if we were ever going to leave. I thought we might just stay there forever.
It's such a small, exclusive room that, it doesn't feel like a lot, like when you're in there, but when you actually think about the history of the club and where you are and how cool it is that they invited us in there, it was a all-time experience for sure. What a place. And also libations. I've been trying to work that into my lexicon recently. I really have been. I love the word libations. It was on a menu recently, and it just had me hooting and hollering. I was laughing about it. Just like, what a pretentious way to call a cocktail, just a libation, but like, I need to start using that.
And speaking of Tiger Woods, he's back in the US.
I saw that.
Saw him coming off the old PJ. He was just walking around and doing the thing, getting picked up. He's back in the United States of America. That made me think that, like, if he had he was gearing up for the Masters and would have played in the Masters, he probably would have played in the PGA this week. We would have seen a couple, I think, performances of Tiger Woods already, which I don't know that the cold, windy weather out there and the ups and downs of the hills in Philadelphia would have been great for our guy. But I don't know. I wonder if anybody think we're going to see him at Shinnecock? Is there like a decent chance?
I was going to ask, when's the senior U.S. Open?
That's a great question.
I do amaze myself at how quickly and willing I am to fire up the comeback machines. Like podcast, we went through a couple weeks of we were making basically national news with what we were saying about everything that had happened and how it all got rolled out and whatever. But as soon as I saw him on that tarmac at PBI, I was like, let's go. I'm ready to just have this guy be back playing golf and winning huge tournaments. And I'm ready to just put that on the table. Like, win a bunch of big ones and let's start this thing back up again. It sounds crazy, but it's how I feel. It's how I felt as soon as I saw him. Honest to God.
Seeing him is different. Like seeing him get off the plane is different than just like firing off tweets or takes like on the pod while he's either in jail or like on his way to rehab or something. But like, it definitely feels different when he's back after all that. I do think there's some sort of like law process that still has to continue, right? They just got access to his medical records that are not going to be public, but they're going to go through all of his medications and stuff. So I do think that that's kind of ramping up. I'll be very interested to see if he plays golf this year.
I think he'll play. I think he'll play somewhere.
The only thing, and it's to Frankie's point, like I think what would maybe stop him is you have to put a microphone in front of your face at some point. And maybe he'll just say like, all right, I have to let the legal process play out. That could be an answer that he could give and it would be super fair. But that would be, I don't know. Again, I don't know how ready he is physically, but I think getting in front of a bunch of reporters is probably something Tiger Woods doesn't want to do right now.
Yeah, that press conference. I don't think that press conference is what he wants, but he's done many of those before with just that canned answer that you just gave, Trent. He did the whole deal where it's just like, it's all in the police report. I think that's what he did after the LA area crash, is he was just like, you have to reference the police report. I did look. I think the senior U.S. Open is July 2nd through the 5th in Columbus, Ohio this year, it looks like. Be interesting if he might play in that. You get a cart for that, don't you, kids?
Yeah, he can take a cart.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I'm assuming you can on Champions Tour, so I'm assuming you can at the U.S. Open as well.
Yeah. Yeah, very curious. Very curious if he tries to play at all. I mean, we've only seen him really in major championships here and there over the last several years, and not really much at all. So there's a lot going on with him. Who the hell knows? But he is officially back, and we got a big week in the Barstool golf world, gentlemen. We're going to Ireland. I know we've kind of teased this trip a little bit, but boy, what a fucking undertaking packing for Ireland. I spent hours today packing for this place. You just can't forget anything. And I'll say this too. It's like Adidas Golf, they've been so cool with us for the last almost a year now, 9 months. They send us so much cool stuff, and especially layering pieces that you just don't get a chance to wear. Like, I live in Arizona. The amount of golf that I play where we're layering up is just not that common. And even with what we do for a living, like, we fly to warm places and we film golf. So you don't get a ton of opportunities. I really didn't want to leave anything on the cutting room floor that I thought might make for, some nice pieces out in Ireland. So I went through a bunch of stuff, was laying it out. Like, what kind of, am I going to need sweaters? Am I going to need windbreakers? All that. Ireland is made for this stuff. And so packing for this bad boy, we're going to be over there for like 10 or 11 days, playing a bunch of awesome golf courses, unpredictable weather. Packing for it was an absolute beast. I don't know, like, what the outlets they got over there. Kids, am I going to need like outlet converters?
Yeah, you got to have converters.
So I got to have fucking outlet converters so I can plug stuff into the wall. Like, it's a nightmare packing for this thing. But I did it. I'm all packed up, flying to San Francisco and then over to Dublin. And we're going to be all around that island of Ireland for a week and a half or whatever it's going to be. Incredibly excited for that, gentlemen. Incredibly excited to get over there.
It's going to be an incredible trip. I mean, I'll rattle off some of these courses that we're playing, and people kind of get excited for them, because I know a lot of people have been over there on this Ireland trip, and it's by far the number one requested one that we've gotten in terms of trips to go film. We're doing Doonbeg, Ardglass, The Island, which is by Dublin. Then you got Waterville, Tralee, Royal Portrush, Royal County Down. Hell of a lineup that Brendan Jones has lined up for us, and the Hidden Links guys have helped us out with, which is, I know, Sir Nick Faldo's brand. He's always on the Golf Channel doing those commercials. Pretty awesome. I'm very, very excited. It's going to be a hell of a trip. We got Francis coming with us, who's just a fantastic person to travel with, especially internationally. I'm assuming, we've never done it, but I'm very excited for it. He's a historian. He's very good at telling stories, and he's been to Ireland dozens of times, he said. I mean, him and his dad, it's like their favorite place to go. But he's played all these courses. He knows the ins and outs of them. He knows his way around. So I'm very, very excited to, have a couple of drinks and good food, and yeah, it should be fun.
Kids, what do you think of Ireland? You've been over there for Port Rush, right?
Yeah. I love it, man. It's great. My favorite thing about it is when you land on the South Island, you're going to the North Island. They like still don't like each other over there.
Yeah.
I don't know all the history of it, but this customs agent was just asking me about going to the Northern Ireland. I was like, yeah, I mean, isn't it the same country? Like, what does it matter? I felt like she asked me questions like I had to have some other form to go to that one. It was pretty crazy when I went over there for the British Open last year.
There is we had to fill out something to go across, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, it's like not that far removed from like war, like a civil war, essentially, between the people that lived in Northern Ireland and Ireland. I mean, they do not like, certain religions over there. And if you're in there and you're not the same religion as them, it's like, it was bad, like 60s and 70s. I mean, it got real messy and bloody. So I think it's still pretty raw.
Well, I mean, I know it's a touchy subject for Rory. Whenever the Olympics would come around, it was always a talking point of like, who are you going to represent? And he was always like, whew, it's definitely still a very, very hot button topic. Big time.
Great beers, though, man. You can't have any better Guinness in the world than right there in Ireland. So I'd like for y'all to have a cheers for me over there, because I can put those things down when I'm over there.
I am so excited for that. I'm so excited to have like a proper Guinness in Ireland. That's just that is up there on my bucket list of things to just say you've done. I had a little bit of a passport scare, if we're going to be honest with each other. Boy, a decade comes up on you real fast. Just shocking how old I am,
Damn.
looked. I didn't want to tell anybody this because it was a little bit of a panic, but maybe 2.5 weeks ago, I was like, I wonder when my passport expires. It's got to be coming up in the next couple of years or something. I looked at that bad boy. It expired in November of 2025. So that's just a decade. I can't tell you, when you get that passport for the first time, or you get it renewed or whatever, and it says it expires in, at the time it said it expires in 2025. That might have been the year like 3000 at that moment when that happened. You're like, whatever, dude, it's 10 years. Who cares? Fine. Man, I looked at that and was like, holy shit, my passport expired like 6 months ago. Luckily, as a Clear member, Clear has like an incredible expediting process for getting a new passport. If you have like proof of travel, you pay a couple fees. I spent like a week and a half ago or so. I was back home for just a couple days. It's also really hard because we're on the road nonstop and have been for the last 3 weeks, whatever the hell it is. But I was home. I ran around town and had like, I had to get my picture taken. You got to get your picture updated. You got to get proof of travel. You got to have your actual old book, and you got to turn it all into this courier who like examined it and approved it and then took it to the actual passport office. Long story short, boys and girls, I have my passport.
Fantastic.
I got it like 2 days ago when I got home. It was like a tight window because we're also not home for that long. So I have a passport. Kind of a bummer, by the way, that when they renew your passport, they just clear out your old one. So I don't have any of those stamps left. I thought that was like you get to accrue those stamps forever, and they're just gone, which is kind of
that does suck.
You get to keep the old one though?
No. Well, for me to get mine renewed, it might have been because I was so late in the game. I had to send in my old book, and they didn't send that thing back.
I don't know that I have my old book. I think I remember saying the same thing about the pages, like saying, all the places that we had gone, like the Australia one was gone, because I just got a new one recently as well, maybe like a year or two ago. That's pretty nerve-wracking because you hear these horror stories of like it takes 2 months to get it back or whatever it might be. I mean, it took me a decent amount of time when I just went through the regular process. Luckily, my wife sees all this stuff years before I do. So like she's just letting me know things that are coming up. And like she just did it all for me. But had it been, I would not have been coming on this trip if it was me. I would have looked that day.
Well, let me ask you this: how long do passports last? Just as a general question.
10 years.
Okay, you guys had my heart pumping a little bit. I'm pretty sure mine has not expired, but I got mine in 2019, so I'm good. Literally, as we started talking about this, I was like, let me just make sure in my own brain that my passport has not expired, because if it had, I'm fucked.
Yes. If you're leaving tomorrow, you're fucked.
Let me just go check really quick.
This is exactly what happened to me. I was like, it's got to be. I'm probably 2 or 3 years out here. Let's check this bad boy. Oh my God, it expired in November. So it was a little bit of a panic, but I've got it. I'm fucking excited to get over there. Hopefully Trent comes back with good news. And then the other thing I had on my list is that our very own Kevin Kisner, you're gearing up to play. Oh, Trent, good news?
We're good. We're going to Ireland.
That's huge.
Fantastic.
It's fucking huge, man. That's massive. Our very own Kevin Kisner is gearing up to play on the PGA Tour here. What, next week, Kiz? That's when it is?
Yeah, going back out to one of my favorite places at Colonial in Fort Worth, Texas. See all my boys out there. Yeah, I started practicing about 2 weeks ago pretty hard, but then I just went on a fishing trip for 3 days and did nothing. So got to make up for it this week, get back in the game. Going up to play 9 holes with John Daly tomorrow. So might throw that on my old YouTube channel, tease that up for you.
Wow.
It's going to be incredible. Brendan Jones told us about that. He's like, hey, do you think we should? He goes, Kiz just called me and says he's playing with John Daly and they want to film it and put it on our YouTube. And we all were like, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. He was asking us for like permission. I'm like, it'll be the best video we've had all year. John Daly and Kevin Kisner just playing golf, shooting the shit.
And 2 of my buddies that are songwriters in Nashville, Cole Taylor and Tyler Reeve, they have this cool business called Playing Through, where they take like a rock star with them and they go to these golf courses and they play golf with the members, and the members pay them obviously, and then they put on a big concert at the club, like private show. Like I've seen them do it with Cole Swindell and Chase Rice and all these guys. And so they've decided to start a YouTube channel on their end of doing that, like showing the golf and then the concert. So he was like, man, we should film this. And I said, well, my film crew is probably ready to do this. Let's call my guy and see if he wants to do it. And then they talked, and he's like, yeah, how about your guys just do it? They seem like they know what they're doing.
That's going to be great.
They do.
I can't wait to watch it.
That's awesome. That's exciting. You're going to have a day tomorrow.
Yep. Got to film a commercial with Daly before we play.
What's your practice, look like? What do these sessions look like?
Man, they're not nearly as impressive as they used to be. I used to be able to hit like 200 balls a session. Now I get to about 40, and I'm like, yeah, this sucks. Let's go play. Then I'll play a few holes, and I'm like, yeah, let's go eat lunch. But if I got a game, I'll play. I like that. I used to be able to just go practice all day, like chip and putt and hit bunker shots and go out on the course and hit multiple drivers on certain holes and working it. And now it's just like, I'd rather just go play. I don't know if it's the age or what, but I can't put the time in that I used to.
It's interesting. I've just always, we've talked a lot about how we just don't know how to practice, and it's like I could go to, if I have a window while we're at home and I have a 3-hour window in the afternoon to go hit balls, it's very difficult for me to know how I can actually use those 3 hours and truly get better versus just kind of mindlessly hitting balls where each swing I'm like trying a new thought and like hoping it just clicks. And that's the thought that's now going to make me 10 strokes better for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I like working on my short game. I like going and have chipping contests or playing games. That's how I always did it. I had Scott Brown here and Matt Neesmith still playing, but we had other tour players here. So that's what we did all day. We just played 21 around the chipping green, or we played an up and down game. And then we'd go play 9 holes, and we'd come back and hit balls, and then we'd go play 9 more holes, and then we'd have putting contests. I think anytime you can compete at your practice, you can get better faster.
I remember sitting in the car. We were driving with Dr. Brett McCabe somewhere down in Alabama, and he was telling me about how, like, when he talks to some of his players, that's one of the biggest things is like they can't feel like they have any competition when they practice. There's like trying to simulate that feeling is really, really difficult. You hit a wall of like, how can I even simulate that? I need to make this putt feeling when you're just like pounding balls all day.
Yeah, I just separate it in blocks. Like there's technique practice and then there's competitive practice. And if I'm working on my swing, or I'm trying to, get better at something, I do that in block work. And then I try to go be competitive with someone else in other practice so I can get in the feeling of, I've got to hit a great chip here. I've got to make this putt right here. Because that's what you're going to feel the whole time in a tournament.
Wonder if because you said you wonder what it is, your age or whatever it might be, in terms of like your drive to not work as hard or not work as hard, but like practice the same way you did. If that's like on a grand scale, like that dopamine high and low, it's like they always say that as you're in pursuit of something, you have the most energy, the most anticipation, your dopamine's as high as it can be. All of that stuff is at like a record high. And then once you achieve it and you've lived it, like it immediately starts to come down. And like on a larger scale of a PGA Tour career, if that is essentially what you're feeling, right? Like for you to get up again, it's got to be like playing for Ryder Cup position and President's Cups. You know what I mean? Like you've experienced that so much that like this next version of it, I mean, we'd have to like go for a run at the Colonial right now to get that. And it probably would spike right back up because like you remember what that feeling is like. But that's got to be kind of what it is. It's got to be something mental where it's like, well, it's not that. So like, why would I work for it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I also think it's just different time in your life. I think about all the other things I have to do throughout the day. Whereas when I didn't have 3 kids and I didn't have, 4 jobs that I was always doing stuff. Like I literally just woke up, worked out, went to the golf course, and there was no like, hey, I needed you to be home at 3:30 to do this and 5. It's like I just played golf until I couldn't anymore, and then I came home. And now it's always like I've got something to do other than that. And so throughout the day, I'm like, all right, I got to go do this. All right, I got to go do that.
I tried to do the math while you were talking on like that. They say the 10,000 hour thing. You got to do something for 10,000 hours to perfect it. And I was wondering if Kiz has practiced 10,000 hours of golf in his life. And basically the math works out to like 5 years worth of 5 hours a day of golf.
Yeah, I've practiced
365 days,
50,000
5 hours
in my life.
every day.
Oh.
Which you like. Obviously, you haven't done 365 days, 5 hours a day. Some days you take off. Some days you play 10 hours. But like, if we're talking 5 years of that over the amount of years that you've been playing this game, you're at what? 30,000 hours? I mean, I don't even. It's crazy how much golf you guys have played in your lifetime.
Crazy. And how many golf
Crazy.
balls
Like
you
what?
probably hit?
It's probably triple that, right? I mean, like you probably hit balls. What I mean, because practicing golf is not just like the range, right? You play a 4-hour round, you hit the ball. You play golf 6-7 hours a day when you're in the mix.
No problem.
No problem.
If not more.
Easily. That's fucking crazy, dude. When you think about it on that scale of like how many hours are put in, and people are still not giving Aaron Rai his flowers. You know what I mean? That guy's put it in too. Fuck, man.
One thing I was curious about watching golf this week, Kiz, have you ever like seen or utilized, I guess people could just kind of go off to the side maybe, but like on a driving range, hitting balls like out of rough? Just because like I'm watching like Rory today hit very few approach shots into the green out of fairway. It's like every approach shot he's hitting in these greens was out of the rough. And I was thinking about my own, and we just talked about practice and all that. It's like, I don't know how many I've probably hit in real life, like in actual total time in my life. I've probably hit like 5% of the balls with irons out of the rough, but in 95% out of fairway turf because I'm hitting on the range versus like in real golf, I never hit the fairway. So I'm hitting out of the rough the whole time, yet I never practice it.
No, I don't think anybody practices it. It's a good point, but most of the practice tour players get out of the rough as in practice rounds. They don't go on the side of the range and drop balls and hit it out of the rough. And I'm not sure why. Probably be wise, but your lies are so different from lie to lie that I just don't know that you can replicate it in practice. You just learn it from experience.
Can't like learn much from it.
It's just like, oh, that ball looked like it only flew 140 yards. I mean, how do you measure it? I guess you could have TrackMan over there in the rough showing you how far it flew, but it's just such a feel thing based on your lie and the golf course and the shot you're trying to hit that I don't think dropping balls on the side of the range, you can replicate what happens out there hitting into a giant field with a few targets.
It's just interesting. I was like, I don't know. I was very curious about that. It was like, I've never seen a driving range that offers like a strip of driving range area that has like rough that replicates the rough on the golf course. It's like, this is where you're going to be all day, brother. Hit out of this stuff.
Interesting.
Right. I've never thought about this either, but they absolutely should have that. Like, I understand that you're saying you wouldn't learn a ton, but you wouldn't learn zero. And you can put that ball in there when you're practicing however you want to. So that's kind of blowing my mind a little bit right now. I actually think there should be some area where you can hit out of the rough because, I mean, most players are in the rough all the time. It's
an interesting trend. Our place, Colonial Springs, speaking of Colonial Springs on Long Island has a strip of fairway bunker on the left side of the range. So it's like a range, nice tight lie range, all the greens, and then parallel to it is a thin bunker. And no one utilizes it. Not one person goes over there and hits. You can learn how to hit a 200. You can learn how to hit a hybrid out of there, or you know what I mean. There's so many things that you could just hit 100 balls out of there and start to learn different shots that I would never attempt because the only time you get to hit out of a fairway bunker is when you're on the second hole and you're like trying to knock it onto the green. You hit the lip and you want to like melt your freaking clubs into a doorknob.
You know who hates that bunker parallel to the range? The entire maintenance staff that has to rake that sucker every morning. And then they probably sit over there and like, look, once again, nobody's using the bunker I raked all morning.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, it's crazy because I was just thinking like I will stand there on the range on a perfectly flat, perfectly mown fairway strip of range area and hit 7 irons off of that 15 times in a row. And that is not anywhere close to a 7-iron shot that I hit the entire day, unless it's like off of a par 3 tee that happens to be 165 or something. Like it's just
right.
That's not. It's bizarre, and it's like the fairway bunker thing is a great a great story. It reminds me like a week before the PGAs or whatever, probably a week and a half ago, maybe I was on the range hitting balls at Wisbrock, and Wyndham Clark was over in a greenside bunker on the practice area, but hitting balls into the range. And it was just as like for every 3 balls I would hit, he would hit one out of this greenside bunker, using it as a fairway bunker for the range. And it was just absolute bullets coming out of this fucking bunker, like basically going over me on the driving range, and then me like clank, 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 and then just and then the other thing he was doing, Kiz, was he was changing clubs every swing like he was playing a hole. So he would go like driver, then he would hit like an 8-iron, and then he would hit like a wedge, and then he would hit a driver, and he would hit a 4-iron. I like watched him do that.
Yeah, he's probably playing a course in his head of all the shots he thinks he's going to have. I didn't do that a whole lot just because when shit hits the fan, I'm like, well, I did that whole practice and I didn't hit one shot like I thought I was going to today. So that was pretty pointless. Wasted 35 minutes of my life with Dewey handing me clubs and telling me how far to hit it. And then I never got to hit that shot.
That's like in TGL, you were like practicing that one shot. You ended up having it.
Yeah, well, I knew I was screwed on that hole, so I had to practice it. And then it comes down. I mean, that was wild because it came down to that exact shot, and it was the exact shot y'all walked in on.
The exact one.
155-yard 9-iron to a right pin on top of that ridge where if I draw it 2 yards too far, it goes 45 feet from the hole.
So good. Yeah, and then also, I mean, obviously ranges are great for just like preparing for the round, getting good ball contact, but you never get a flat lie, and that always messes with me as well. Where I'm out there, first hole has undulation, balls above your feet, below your feet, completely different lie angle in terms of your club face. You have no idea what you're doing, right? Like you just got off a perfectly flat driving range. And for me, an amateur golfer, we're like working on whatever's producing a ball that's going up in the air. And then that first swing, God, on God's green earth, wherever Michael Block said, if I hit that fairway, like we're hooting and hollering, and then it's not anything what I just practiced at all. At all.
Never.
Oh, I was watching Smiley. Smiley was in like his house or something with his co-host, and he was talking about like he put himself up against a wall, and he was doing like he said bad if your fingers touch the wall first, and he said good, and his like his like forearm was touching the wall first. Kind of like what Kiz was telling me. I was throwing my wrists at it.
Rolling those wrists.
I like that drill though.
Have you been striping it?
Huh?
Have you played any golf?
Yeah, I played 9 and 90, and I put it up on Instagram, and I hit horrible drives, duck hooks. I made a 9 on a par 5. It was brutal, but it is what it is. Like, it's a learning experience. I can't. After this, once you're chilling, laying in bed, go watch that thing and look at some of those drives. Tell me what you saw. I'm trying what you're doing. I just can't pull the trigger on putting my right hand in my right pocket. I can't do it. It feels like I'm cutting it. When I try it on the range, dude, I'm embarrassing. You should have seen me doing it. I was like, wah. I'm saying to the ball, I'm going, wee. They're floating onto Long Island Avenue to the left of Colonial, just wee. And I'm looking around. My kids told me to put my right hand. I'm like, oh, what is that? Hat come with a bowl of soup? I'm like, my shoulders are flying on the driving range. Everyone's looking at me. No one gives a fuck, by the way. No one gives a fuck. And I'm talking to the guy to my left, being like, kids told me to put my right hand in my. He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'd also imagine there's nobody else out there. It's just you, and you're just talking to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, dude, just like it's not good. I totally understand, and it makes complete sense. The thing that I can't commit to is how it's an arc. The driver's an arc. All the swings are an arc. And Kiz did a great job on the driving range of Shinnecock. He basically took his foot and like made an impression in the grass to show me where to take the club back. And then he took his foot on the further side of the golf ball and made an impression to kind of make this arc that I would be able to follow. And I understand that, but also having to keep that heel of the club strong and not turn over is learning a new golf swing. So like, we're not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, we're too far gone.
The first day you tried it, you told me you striped it.
Yeah. I don't know what happened out at Atlantic. I was trying that like toe to toe thing, and I was striping golf balls. You know what it is? That was a wide open. We talked about golf course setup. That was a wide open golf course. and I was able to just go for it, which is what I do when I get fit. When I go to the TaylorMade Kingdom, I'm hitting these like 170 ball speed high draws. They're like, it's going 282. I'm like, what's going on right now? I'm like, I'm high-fiving people. They're like, yeah, you're going after it. High draws. They're giving me blue Ventus TR shafts. I'm like, I'm walking out of there like I'm the man, right? And then I get to the first hole of Colonial. It's all tree lined, and I'm trying to hit like baby cuts because I'm afraid I'm going to hit onto the driving range or something. I don't swing that way like I do at an open golf course or at the fitting. That's a thing that's a problem with amateur golfers getting fitted, is that like you'll never swing like that ever again.
Yeah, you're getting confident hitting one after another. Giant field, no repercussions for bad shots. Yeah, I understand.
I think you should get fit during a round of golf.
I only, when I would get new drivers from anyone, I just tell them to send shafts and the heads to my house, and then I go put them together on the golf course and hit them on the golf course. And that's how I pick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a version of what we're saying.
I mean, Riggs, like think about how different your swing is, because like me and you are both the same way. We get very defensive on the tee, and like we just produce something different, which I know the correct answer is to not do that. And that's obvious. Like if we didn't do that, we'd be like wearing 2 gloves winning the PGA Championship. Like we'd be unbelievable golfers. But like we are not. So like we have to just deal with what we have. And like we, for better or worse, mostly worse, have a different swing when we're in our game. Like when our gamer swing is defensive, it's scared, it's like not there. So like maybe there's a change that could happen that would give us a little more confidence, like in that swing. And I've always thought that, like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't go after it like that when I have like out of bounds left and water right. You know what I mean? There's just like something that happens to me. So yeah, I'm not sure what the solution to that is. Obviously, it's like have a better brain and just figure it out. But yeah, I thought that's been interesting. And in terms of all the practice talk and how to simulate like how you actually play, if like maybe we had more knowledge of our gamer swing and adjusted to that.
Yeah, it's funny for me. Like I get into this conversation a bit with my guy Bobby out here, who works with me, who had me at the end of last year, especially hitting the ball, probably the best I ever hit it. I've kind of gone backwards since, but we go back and forth over like the driver and the mini driver a lot, because my driver on the range, we can get it to where I'm like 161, 162 ball speed, carrying the ball like 265 and hitting these like high towering draws shot after shot. And he's like, yeah, you don't even need the mini driver. I'm like, you don't understand. When I get on the golf course, buddy, I'm hitting over the top wipe that goes like 220 with my driver. And when I bought the mini driver, it's significantly, I'm just more comfortable with it, and it carries 240 or so, but I hit it. The dispersion is simple. It chases out there, and I can just play golf with it. I'm like, I just don't know. And now we get it out. And I'm like, I get the technology on the driver is producing it. It carries far. It's tumbling. And when I hit it on the course, the way he wants me to hit it on the range, it does take off. Like I had 1 9 and 90 a couple weeks ago that I put out where I had hit a couple the way I wanted to hit it, and they were going over 300 yards, which I never do in my life, and it was fun. But then we get out there, and it's wherever. It could be Shinnecock. It could be Ireland this weekend. It could be when we were at Shangri-La, and it's tree lined and a little windy, and it's like you hit tee shots that you can't even imagine somebody hitting that plays golf on a consistent basis. And you're just like, brother, I don't know what to tell you. I can't do it. I cannot do it. It makes no sense to me.
And then there's Trent, who just hits baby draws, fucking pounds the rock thanks to Kevin Kisner, the best student Kevin Kisner could ever ask for. He goes,
I think
do
I'm firing
this
you too.
and do it.
An easy game, fellas.
I get so confident after watching these tournaments too, of like good swing after good swing, where I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that difficult. We're gonna go play golf all week. I could do that. And it's gonna be interesting in Ireland, baby. Windy, Lakes
wait
golf.
till that wind picks up over there, and your just ball's gonna go so far offline. It's gonna be great.
Just into and off the left. Just a disaster.
What did you tell me? I'm the best golfer ever at downwind. Every other wind, terrible.
It was so funny. That was when people got mad at us, like we don't prepare. And I was telling kids that we were staying at Sabonic. I'd gone to Sabonic 6 hours before our tee time at Shinnecock to hit balls because I wanted to play well so badly, and I care so much more than people on the internet were giving us credit for. And the wind was, I sent you guys that video. The wind was like 30 or 40 miles an hour. It was 45 degrees out, and it was straight downwind, slightly off the right. So every single shot I hit looked like I was the best golfer in the history of the game of golf. It was just a high, towering draw that didn't move more than 4 yards and went forever. And I was like, this is completely meaningless. And then I told Kiz, I know we're going to get to the first tee at Shinnecock. And it was straight into off the left. And I was like, I can't play golf in this wind right here. This is impossible. And just hit it into the 18th fucking tee box, basically. So it just, yeah, not, you don't know till you get out there, and then you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's golf.
It's true.
It's golf.
It's the chips. Like, after watching golf, it's the short game. After watching professional golf, that amazes me. Obviously, it's like you always want what you can't have, but what you guys can do, kids, around the greens and like under pressure, tight lies, or even just like the ball's buried, just the creativity that a professional golfer has and the confidence to just, did you guys see that Jordan Spieth shot that he had hit and everyone was going crazy over? What was your thoughts on that, kids, where he kind of hit it into the hill and it went up?
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, Ryan
today?
Richardson, can you pull this off? Because I know Justin Thomas had tweeted about it during the tournament. People were saying like he's the only like sicko that would, number one, attempt this shot, and number two,
but he'll pull it off.
Be able to pull it off. It was I forget what hole it was, but pin was up on top of a shelf. Everyone was ripping off the front. This should be one of the first things you find.
Bumped it into the hill, kind of.
Yeah, from like a pretty far distance, and it's just like an insane divot he took. Here, Ryan's got it.
Yeah, this was a sick shot.
Even just like the ball contact and his swing.
Oh, this is on 11. Yeah.
Look at that skip.
What did that do? Second hop had so much spin on it.
Play that again.
Hit that one more time, Ryan.
Downwind into the hill.
Oh,
That is something right there.
What is that? Just an immense amount of forward spin, like top spin?
No, it had an immense amount of backspin. You can't make a ball spin forwards.
Well, how did it jump forward like that up the hill like that?
I think what you're seeing is almost spinning backwards in the air. He took one hop and then it hit again, and I think it was like because it didn't roll forward after it took that big hop.
Right, it went sideways and back. Yeah.
I think it had so much backspin on it, like he just cut the legs off of it that the ball was confused.
It was a bizarre shot.
Yeah.
People on Twitter were like talking about it for days. No one really knows what happened to that golf ball. Everyone's been going crazy about it.
Took a giant divot with it. He played it back and just ripped the face off of it, off the grooves.
What an impressive guy. That guy can pull off a lot of good shots.
He's not afraid to try them either.
Before we go, I know we're going a little long, but I know we talked about Tommy Fleetwood. I had him top 10 in almost every single same game parlay on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I had him all over the place. Tommy Fleetwood missed a cut. 5 over, I think he was. Thoughts on Tommy Fleetwood? I know he's been surprising us.
Yeah, that's a hard one because he finished 5th last week. I had him. I think I talked you into taking that bet.
Yeah.
Because I said I like Tommy this week. I don't know. He's had an interesting year. Just thought he would really take off. I said maybe on here that Cam Young and Tommy Fleetwood would probably have 2 of the biggest years in 26. I was right on one and deathly wrong on the other. I'm not really sure what's going on in this game, though. I haven't paid enough attention to know why he's not playing well.
And then the Rory thing. The Rory kicking the guy out. We don't know if he got kicked out, but he kind of pointed at him. I don't know what the fan said to Rory. I know he said USA, but there was something he said prior to that I don't know if that got under his skin. But are we all under the agreement that if Rory didn't flub that into the bunker, he's just walking up to if he puts that to 5 feet, that guy is still enjoying the tournament, having beers. No one ever sees him, but because he flubbed it, he does the immediate turnaround, you're out of here, buddy.
100%.
Yep.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Just bad luck for the fan is what I was thinking, right? Everyone's screaming. They're all going nuts. They're buying Barstool golf merch in the tent, which I think we hit record numbers. Shout out to everybody for doing that. The text messages, we reordered 9 boxes worth of merchandise to get back to that tent. They couldn't hold stuff on the racks and the hat section, but that guy just says USA and Rory just flubs a bunker. He's like, you're gone. It's just oh fuck, dude. What the fuck? If that guy puts it to 2 feet, if Rory puts it to 2 feet, that guy's buying more Barstool merch at the tent. It's just he's there. He's fine. Instead, he's in jail.
All right. That's all I have. That is all I have. Once again, a little reminder, we got the Shinnecock Hills video coming out this week. I believe that's scheduled for Wednesday. And then we will be doing our next show. I think our next show will all be in Ireland when we do the next show. I think that's based on the timing, based on what I'm looking at. We're all going to be in the country of Ireland when your Thursday show hits you. So I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about at that point. But congratulations to Aaron Rai. What a week. Major weeks always just deliver. There's all kinds of quotes and funny moments and big moments and all of it. And we still got 2 more majors left on the schedule. So that's all we got. Thank you for listening. As always, thank you to Ryan Richin, whipping this bad boy up tonight, having it ready to go in the morning for folks. And again, a big thanks to everybody in Philly who bought merchandise. We appreciate the hell out of it. We'll see you Thursday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.